Hi everybody, today I'm looking at the Nikon BC-7 flash unit, which was introduced in late 1966, and it's for the Nikon F camera, but it also fits on the F2 because it's the same accessory shoe fitting. Comes in this leather case, and we'll have a look at the unit. So it's just to go over all the features, etc. You've got on the back a calculator for working out the f-stop required for the shooting distance depending on what film you use. It's a battery cover which just opens with this little button there fitting the battery. On the bottom is the accessory shoe, and it's this little pin here that makes connection with the camera. The name and model on the front, and you've got the fan, which is the reflector fan, which folds out and then clips on. And it's got two different settings. The first setting is for a 35mm lens, which gives you an angle of illumination of 65 degrees, or if you move it to the next setting, it's suitable for a 45mm lens. In the centre you've got the connection for the bulb, and it can take three types of bulb: a large bayonet, a smaller bayonet size, and a all glass bulb as well. So three different types of flash bulb. And you've got the ejector button for the flash bulb on the top. The other two things it's got two test circuits. One for to show that the capacitor and the flash bulb is okay. You can do a check by pressing that button, and it illuminates that there, that light, that lamp. And you've also got a test for the circuitry with the camera. We use this button on the front, and I'll show you that in a short while. So first of all, the battery. Now it uses Mallory or Duracell 504 batteries, or this is an equivalent, which is a Varta V7 4PX, and they're 15 volt batteries. So to fit the battery, just remove the cover, put it with the plus side at the top, or the red connection terminal. Pop that in, put the cover back on. That's the battery fitted. A bulb, I've got these Sylvania blue dot flash bulbs M3, and these are clear bulbs. You can also get blue bulbs, and the difference in the name would be the blue bulbs would be M3B, and clear bulbs are actually designed for black and white film, and the blue bulbs for colour, and that's because of the colouring you get from the flash working with the film. Obviously it's trying to produce the correct daylight temperature. So these flash bulbs designed for different cameras, Polaroid cameras as well, and you've got a guide on the back for different settings, etc. But the Nikon F comes with its own guide for flash synchronization, and tells you what shutter speeds to set, etc. for the different flash bulbs. So the bulbs themselves, so they're single use bulb, and this is one that's actually been fired. See the bulb is actually blown. Take out new bulb. And simply fit into the front. I usually depress the button on the top to fit them. This is a smaller bayonet type, the M3. And that's the bulb fitted. Now as soon as you've got the battery in and the bulb fitted, the capacitor inside actually charges up automatically. So it readies it ready for firing. And this is where this white test button comes in. When you press this down, it should illuminate the light, and that shows that there is enough charge in the battery for the capacitor, and it also shows that the bulb is okay. That's a good test for that. Show you how it fits to the camera. My trusty Nikon F. Now, the other thing I say you need to do is, as well as set the shutter speed, you need to set another dial on the F as well, depending on what type of bulb you use. And that's to help with the synchronization of the camera shutter with the bulb firing, because obviously different bulbs have different fire times. It's not like an electronic flash where it's a very brief moment. So you need to set this other setting on this dial, which the dial actually goes around the shutter speed dial, and it's you pull it up, and you can see at the moment it says FX, which is the setting you would use for electronic flash. But you just turn the dial to the different settings, I say using the guide in the Nikon F book, and you set it, the colour code, according to the flash bulb you're using. Now these bulbs, these M3 bulbs, can use fire at a 60th of a second or 30th of a second and below, and for 60th of a second it's the red setting in the window, which corresponds also to the red colouring of the speed on the dial. Or I could set it to the white dot for 30th second or below, and again that corresponds with the colours accordingly. So I'd set it, for this bulb I'd set it to the red dot, and then set the shutter speed dial to 60th of a second. Now the other test then on the flash unit, which you do before you would put film into your camera, and without a bulb fitted as well. And this is a test for the actual circuitry between the camera and the flash unit. So first of all you fit the flash, and it simply slides on the accessory shoe of the Nikon F. There's no tightening screw or anything to make it any tighter, it just fits, slides along, and the pin drops into the connection on the back of the accessory shoe. So the other test is, what you do is you advance the shutter and then hold in this red button for at least 2 seconds, and then you fire the shutter release, and you should get the same light up on the back of the BC-7, and that confirms the circuitry is working okay between the camera and the flash unit. I'll show you how it looks on the F with the bulb fitted, and I'll put the finder back on. Get my bulb, into the socket, and I'm using a 50mm lens here, so I could, on the fan, select the inner connection groove, which will give me a narrower and stronger flash, concentrated flash. That's with the bulb fitted. I've got the battery fitted, and again slide that onto the camera. That's how it looks on the Nikon F. And the other thing you need to do, of course, is you've got the shutter speed set, but you need to set the aperture. And the way you do that is using the calculator on the back of the BC-7. Now, it's different for colour or black and white film, because with colour film you need an extra stop exposure. And you can see there's two different guides here. One for colour, which is in red, and the black and white one, which is in black print. And you set the ASA speed of the film against the shutter speed you've set. So in my case I usually use 200 ASA colour film, so I would set the correct mark, which is the mark above the 160. That's the 200 ASA speed rating against the 1/60th of a second shutter speed. And then, for example, if I want to shoot 12 feet, then I would need to set f11 on the camera. So you would set f11, and then it's set up to take with the colour film. So of course I've got actually a clear bulb in here, which is designed for black and white film. All things to tell you about the flash: it can tilt, the top can tilt, and every time I do this the bulb pops out. It can tilt through 120 degrees in 30 degree stops, so you can actually use bounce flash. But again, obviously if you're doing that, you need to compensate the exposure, because you're losing out on the brightness, of course. With shutter speeds lower than 1/30 of a second, you should use guide numbers, which, as I say, are printed on the back of the bulb package. And that's about it, actually. I've added a short little video at the end of this showing the flash firing, which you might want to look at as well. So there you go, it's the Nikon BC-7. I hope you've enjoyed. Have a look looking at it with me. See you next time.